Chelsea, just give us a sense of how things have unfolded there this week. Can you give us a timeline of the week from the club's point of view?
We got called. I got called into a board meeting on Monday. We've obviously got quite a few new board members now at the club. You know, there's some ambitious plans that have been put forward off the field, and there was a decision made in the boardroom that that they felt that, you know, we as a club we'd gone backwards. The results, you know, in terms of the points and the results, we were in a worse position than what we were 12 months ago. I think we're sat on 11 points this year. We sat on 8 after 17 games, and the board decided that they needed a fresh approach, and they needed to to bring somebody else in to lead us, you know, into a new era in 2026. Obviously very difficult day for everybody. I had to deliver the news to Danny straight after the board meeting, and obviously very disappointed, as you would expect.
That's a very difficult phone call to have to make, isn't it? Did you see it coming? Were you surprised by the call?
Well, it wasn't a phone call. I had to go and meet Danny face to face. I think, listen, I've been in that position where, you know, it's been done on a call, and it's been done face to face, and I just felt the right thing to do was to chat to Danny face to face on it. You know, like I said, it didn't go down well, and you know, Danny were obviously very disappointed with the decision, which, you know, I understand. But like I said, we've got a new board here. Some new board members that have come in that wanted to see change, JD, and it's always difficult, isn't it? It's always difficult situation, and obviously, you know, I've got to support the board in every way I possibly can.
Can you say what the reaction of the playing group has been to the decision?
It's hard to tell, mate. I just think that you know, we had a discussion on Tuesday. I just sat everybody down and just made it quite clear to everybody that, you know, collectively we've, you know, this has all happened because of us, the people in that room. You know, we've not been good enough. You know, myself and staff, the players. You know, could we have done things? You know, could we have done better? And, you know, probably everybody in that room could have probably said, yeah, we probably could have done a lot of things better. And you know, at the end of the day, it's a results-based industry, isn't it? And we haven't had the results this year. And like I said earlier, the club felt that they wanted to go in a different direction.
How's it been for you getting the whistle back out then? I think it's 4 years next month since you left Wakefield. Yeah,
listen, I'm just here, JD, just to support the three coaches that are here. I'm here to front up the media, you know, to do all those kind of duties. I don't want to be a head coach again. I love my time. I had 8 years as a head coach, you know, but, you know, my primary focus is a director of rugby, and you know, that's the role that, you know, I'm still doing now, you know, making decisions on recruitment, but like I said, I'm simply here to assist and to help out. You know, the three good coaches that we've got here at the club already, in Brett Delaney, Scott Morrell and Rob Nicolai. So, you know, I'm just, as I was previous, a sounding board for those guys. You know, I've got some ideas that you know, I think I can help with, but the sessions are being run by those guys, and me taking a real close watch, a close eye on everything that's going on. So you know, it was a bit of a shock, you know, to everybody, shock to me, but I made it quite clear that once the board had made the decision that, you know, I didn't want to be a head coach. That's not my bag anymore. And you know, I really enjoy doing the role that I currently do, and which is recruitment and putting some some building blocks in place.
So Brett Delaney is still at the club.
Brett Delaney, Scott Morrell, and Rob Nicolay. All three are still at the club. We want some kind of continuity, JD. Whoever that coach is, in the weeks to come, whether that's in 2, 3, 4 weeks or whether that's end of the season. Them guys have made it clear that they want to still be here at the club moving forward. I think they're excited by what's happening or going to be happening off the field, and they're excited with the players that we've signed, and those guys will play a massive part in this next block of, I think, 10 games.
So how involved are you, Chris, in finding that new head coach?
Listen. I go in. I sit down with the staff. We talk about what the training is. We talk about what we need to do. We look at video together. But I want them guys to deliver out on the training field and make the message really, really clear what our identity is and what we need to do to get results on a weekend. I've got some experience in the coaching department, and like I said, I'm just the eyes and ears and an extra voice, really. So in terms of what actually goes on the field, I'm present, just like I was when Danny was here. But the emphasis is making sure that these coaches take some responsibility and get some decisions right. And I'm obviously involved in the team selections as well, JD. So that's I'm just there, mate, as some experience, really. And if I need to speak up, I will. And that's my job as the head of rugby.
There is a game at the end of the week, isn't there, which can be probably easily forgotten amid all this. What do you want to see from that group on Sunday, and how different could that team be, do you think?
I just think his effort levels need to be a lot higher than what they were, against Huddersfield. We lacked any real intent and desire that first 15-20 minutes, and that's not taking anything away from Huddersfield. I thought they did a good job on us, but we've got to find some consistency. We've got to find some consistency with his team selection. We've got to find some consistency with some performances. We obviously had a disappointing loss against Hull KR. We felt like we'd put in a really, really good performance against Wigan and got close to Wigan, and then just fell off a cliff against Huddersfield. So we've got to find some consistency there. In terms of selection, JD, Fletcher Rooney comes into the mix. Jerry Simbikin comes into the mix. Kane Robb comes back from his loan from Salford. He obviously comes into the mix. So there's a bit of we're able to freshen up a little bit. We were hopeful that Liam Horn would be available. We obviously appealed that, but that got denied. I said from when I addressed the players and the rest of the staff addressed the players, it's pretty much a clean slate for everybody, and it's their efforts in training. It's I want to see their effort levels go through the roof in training, and if you can do that and impress in training, then you've got an opportunity playing on a weekend.
Hi Chris, it's Aaron. Hope you're well.
Hi mate, you alright?
Yeah, good. I won't keep you long. Obviously, throughout your career, you have had time to build stuff, whether that be at Wakefield or at Leigh with Adrian Lamb. How important is it? I think this has been a 6th appointment in 3 years. How important is it that this one is a long-termer?
I think it's really important, especially if I keep referencing to what's happening, kind of off the field and the board's ambition. We can't keep doing as a club. Keep doing what we're doing and bringing coaches in and getting rid of them after 12 months. We need some kind of consistency on and off the field, and we've got to start rewarding the people, the fans, the board. We've got a board of directors there that are throwing a lot of money into the club, and you know, it's you know, we've got to try and reward those guys, and I think we do that by just having, you know, plenty of effort and desire, and we just got to keep working hard. But yeah, you know, in terms of the coach, we need a development coach. We need a coach that's going to come in and develop the squad and take them to a new level, and you know, we just need to make sure that we give whoever that coach is, we give him some time to build a squad. I think you know, I've already been working very hard off the field in terms of recruitment. We've probably got 6 or 7 announcements to make over the coming weeks, and I think you know, that'll probably go off the back of the other big news coming out of the club. So it's important we get it right, Aaron. And you know, because I certainly don't want to have those conversations, you know, anytime soon, because they're not nice conversations to have.
And just add one more quickly, just in terms of recruitment. What are the new challenges that it brings in the future when you're trying to bring in maybe high-profile players when you're not quite sure who the head coach is going to be? What new challenges does that bring?
To be honest, we've not really had any challenges. You know, we just, you know, from my perspective, it's all about you know, the vision of the club for the next couple of years, and you know, I've had some really good positive chats with NRL agents and NRL players, and there's not really thrown, you know, much challenges. We've said that this year we're going to spend the full salary cap. You know, that's going to be, it's full £2.1 million. We're well underway with the recruitment. Like I said earlier, I think we've got 6-7 players that are already going to improve the squad for 2026. You know, what I will do, you know, I probably will just hang fire a little bit now until we make that decision who the head coach is, because the last thing I want to do is bring somebody in and then, you know, the coach not have anything to you know, he might want to bring somebody else in, or he might want to bring his own player in. We've just got to make sure that we've got enough cap space for those to happen. But you know, what I will say is we've had a lot of good feedback from the agents in the NRL. We've got a lot of players that are still wanting to come over here to the UK, and in Cast Tigers particular. And you know, I'm fairly excited, and really excited about what the future holds over the next 12 to 18 months.